Hello everybody, welcome back to Its Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay. Today on Volksgrad, I'm playing the Tomb Kings and I'm up against the Greenskins of Sitting Duck, who has gone for a bit of a Savage Orc style build. So we'll get into the game, we'll have a look at the forces here of their respective factions. So for the Greenskins, out the front we have an Orc Shaman, so we'll have a look at him in a sec, but we've got basic just goblins and basic savage orcs in the front row. Behind them we have the rusty arrows. It's a good little tech piece, just even by themselves. They do have armor sundering, so obviously being able to just chip down the armor of constructs and stuff like that means that, you know, you look at the next line and the Savage Orc Biggins, who have a bit of an anti-large bonus, they can put some pretty decent hurt into constructs and that kind of things, or sharpty if they're brought. We have a couple more Savage Orcs on the flanks here, as well as a unit of Stone Trolls. So Stone Trolls obviously with a bit of missile resistance and magic resistance. They are weak to fire, but obviously regenerating massive HP pool when you factor in all the regen over the course of the game. We have a Black Orc Big Boss down here who is just on foot, rolling with the lads. So he's taking Heroic Killing Blow. Looks like he's taken the Brass Cleaver. Is that the Brass Cleaver? No, the Dragon Slayer's Fang. So bit more armor and melee defense once he's also taken the Brass Cleaver for the melee attack one there, but he's also got the Heroic Killing Blow and a Rally leadership buff. The Orc Shaman here looks like he has taken Brain Burster, if we're just looking at the tip here, Gaze of Mork, as well as Edbutt. So pretty offensively kitted out, but obviously Brain Burster and Edbutt, you know, he's might be here to snipe down some constructs or snipe my lord or that kind of thing. Leading the force on his chariot, we have Grom the Paunch. He is a bit of a terror, very good duelist on a chariot. So Axe of Grom for a massive weapon strength buffing. The Lucky Banner, one of the better items for a dueling character. You know, the extra melee attack and damage resistance is great, but also his sort of AoE debuffs with leadership and melee attack for the boys and the ITP. So a lot of ITP, or pretty handy for the Greenskins against the undead factions in general. For my forces, as I said, I'm playing the Tomb Kings. We've got some Skeleton Horsemen and some Skeleton Archers here. So just for some counter skirmish, it's pretty cheap. Skeleton Horsemen and Archers are a pretty good screening tool for the Tomb Kings. They have good range. My front line here is just Skeleton Warriors, but I do have a couple of Tomb Guard mixed in, and I do have the Kepra Guard. I was sort of banking on there not being Black Orcs. Black Orcs could probably wreck my day a little bit, but Tomb Guard do reasonably well into Savage Orcs, and obviously the Kepra Guard are a very good anti-infantry unit. Spears in the back here, and I have also taken 2 Hyro Titans. So obviously the Hyro Titan comes with a bound cast of a Spirit Leech and 2 bound casts of the Shem's Burning Gaze. They also buff your mana recharge rate, so they're a pretty handy unit. Very slow, suffers from giant syndrome in that regard, but flame attacks as well with Grom on the field could possibly be of benefit to me. For my lord, I have just taken the basic Tomb King. So he's got probably could have taken him a little bit cheaper actually, but he's got the Scorpion armor for once his hit points get a little bit low, and then obviously just the Reanimate and Tomb Strike. Honestly, you could probably take Reanimate off. Tomb Strike can be okay if he's in a duel with his melee attack, because his stats aren't great for one-to-one dueling. I have also taken a caster somewhere, I believe. I thought I did at least. Maybe I did not. So maybe there is no caster in this list. My opponent also, very sneakily, has 2 units of Squig Hoppers in the back here. Vanguard deployed. They're going to make their way up with through the trees here. So maybe I have actually cut the magical component in favor of just letting the bound spells of the Hyro Titans try and do their work. But we are going to race up to meet the Orc force. At first, I will be quite happy to not see any Black Orcs, because my infantry will struggle in that regard. There's not a lot of armor piercing. We're going to come forward and try and do a bit of a lap around. I'm also pretty happy not to see the skirmish cav just to be annoying at this stage. Tomb Guard are going to meet with Savage Orcs. Obviously, Savage Orcs get a good amount of charge bonus. The Capra Guard here obviously will deal with most of the infantry here quite well, but the Trolls will probably look to get on them. And the Rusty Arrows, even though they're shooting through the trees, can maybe be pretty annoying. So the Hydra Titans with their cool eye lasers are going to wade in. I see the Black Hawk Big Boss here, and I notice that is probably a pretty crucial thing for me to snipe early, because I've got a lot of terror in this list. If I can try and work down the ITP auras, then that will be pretty handy for me. But Grom here, I see Grom and know with the flaming attacks that I can maybe put some damage in, but a good use while popping at the same time as these Savage Orc Biggins engage. And you see the damage going down on the Titan here. Look at him, he's just getting absolutely annihilated. His armor is sundered at the moment. I'm just getting a little bit too blobbed up here, a little bit too isolated rather with my Hydra Titan. The Stone Troll is going to come in now, and I realize I'm in a pretty bad neighborhood at the moment, and to make matters worse, the Squig Hoppers come in. I do manage to keep one of the units out with some bracing from the spears, and I have lapped around with my own cav to try and get onto the Rusty Arrows, but this Hydra Titan is actually crumbling, and he's probably going to die, and I don't really have anywhere to run now with the Tomb King. I remember at this point of the battle I was trying to get the Shem's Burning Gaze off on the onto Grom and try and just snipe some of his HP down, maybe try and rout him. As you see, I did get a lot of damage into Grom. He's going to sit here and regen quite a bit of it, but I'm just pulling back. I see the Squig Hoppers can maybe be terror routed off, and then I'm going to follow up with the Skeleton Horsemen to make sure they don't come back for any rear charges. But this, again, and fighting in the trees for a large target is something I should have been maybe a little bit more aware of. We are coming in round to the rear. I am actually just going to commit the Horse Archers to combat to try and get the Rusty Arrows maybe to stop shooting if they are on a fire command and they're not on guard mode. These Skeleton Horsemen probably would have been a better option, because then I could still be using the ammo, but they're busy off here chasing something. And you see here my Tomb King is basically just trying to stay on the move, not allow himself to be hunted by Grom. There are obviously some auras going down here, and they get back here, so the leadership of all these guys is pretty juiced at the moment. Their combat stats are getting buffed. I am getting close to my Ushabti summon with the Realm of Souls, and the Skeleton Horsemen here are going to come in for a rear charge on the Night Goblin Squigs. But at this stage, flaming attacks against the Stone Trolls is nice, but it's kind of cancelled by the fact that it's also magic damage. Stone Trolls do have magic resist, quite significant magic resist. So now we've fallen in on the Rusty Arrows, trying to get a terror out there, but obviously Bob is putting an end to that plan. You see here, I'm trying to get a Shem's Burning Gaze off, but it just gets obstructed very easily, by little attack animations. He's just standing there like a statue at the moment. That's really frustrating. At this point of the battlefield, he could be doing some decent work for me, and unfortunately, just overcommitting. Tomb Strike is going down, but there's just too much stuff here, and the Tomb King unfortunately is going to bite the dust. This is my Ushabti summon coming up. I figure if I can at least maybe pin Grom in and get a snipe down on him, I might be able to salvage the game, but it's sort of swinging out of my favour here. I do manage to finally get that Shem's Burning Gaze down as the Ushabti do come in. Grom may be able to be killed here, but he does have his lucky banner going down. He's sub 1000 HP, but I'm trying to just force path through here to get whatever damage I can into Grom. He probably might be able to be routed. Again, the Black Orc's Big Boss is going pretty strong here. I have some Skeleton Horsemen pulling out just to do some cycle charging, but these Trolls are basically full health. They haven't lost any unit models. They're going to be a bit of a terror for me to deal with. The Ushabti can potentially put some damage into them, and now we're just bringing our Horseman Cavalry in to try and at least get off the Rusty Arrows to minimize the armor sundering. Likewise, these Skeleton Horsemen are going to try and get a rear charge to break off these Savage Orcs, but the Hydra Titan actually has pretty decent stats. 56-45 for a large single entity monster is actually pretty decent. A lot of armor, a lot of HP, but the Ushabti summon is starting to degen. Grom has made his way out of the fight, so he's pretty safe now. There's not much I have that can really pressure him. I mean, he'd chew through these Skeleton Horsemen pretty quick. You see me trying to get another Shem's Burning Gaze here, but it just gets obstructed very easily on the cast. We have some Skeleton Horse Archers here trying to do their thing. I think there's a headbutt going down here. We do kill Grom with the Shem's Burning Gaze shotgun from point blank range, but that will be it for the Hiro Titan, and Army Losses kicks in just as that spell goes down. So a really, really, really close battle. Unfortunately, just having that first Hiro Titan killed off in the beginning by those Savage Orc Biggins under the effect of Wa and fighting in the trees as well, which is a massive disadvantage for large single entities, was a real big misplay. Likewise, having my Tomb King get overextended. I identified very early that the Black Hawk Big Boss was someone I needed to kill so that I could try and get some terror outs and try and get some value from that aspect of the single entities that I brought, but I just wasn't able to do it. You know, he gets punted around a lot on foot, has pretty good leadership, and obviously can't be terror outed in his own right, so hard to kill him. And then, even though the Tomb Guard, not a lot of value there. Kepra Guard got good value. Skeleton Horsemen, I mean, they never really stack up a lot of kills, but they actually managed to rout both the units of Squig Hoppers off with rear charges. Skeleton Horse Archers, like I said, they're pretty cost effective, but they're not match winners. They don't carry a game. But really the deciding factor here was, despite getting between them reasonable value, probably not getting their cost back on my single entities. The Tomb King's done reasonably well. Just wasn't able to quite give that knockout blow. And you see Grom there's got decent value. Sorcerer got a few good casts in of his magic damage spells just to thin the infantry. The Black Orc Big Bosses held the line together. And then the Savage Orc Biggins have really taken a toll. Likewise, the Savage Orcs all pretty much got their cost back, and if you're getting anywhere near 200 plus cost back on goblins, you'll call that a win. Stone Trolls full health had really no effective answer for them, and Sitting Duck too good for me on this occasion. So well played to him, but taking a bit of a Titan build for a spin, seeing if we can make it work. Like I said, I was actually hoping for the Grom pick, so flaming damage could at least be somewhat meaningful, but not enough to carry the day on this occasion. So thanks for checking out the replay, and until next time, have a good one and take care.